The following demo will illustrate how EMC's File Management Appliance, or FMA, can be leveraged to tier unstructured content from a NetApp filer to the Atmos Cloud tier. In this configuration, we'll see the perspective from the client and the storage admin. The client sees their content on a network share that's exported from a NetApp filer and is approaching 80% capacity. And as recent industry surveys show, most of that content is typically static and doesn't need to be hosted on expensive Tier 1 NAS. We'll then see things from the storage admin's perspective, and we'll see how the policy engine in FMA can transparently move this content via web services to the Atmos Cloud tier. So let's get started. So here we see the view from the client. We have a map network share, 3 different folders. Finance is the one we're interested in. Let's go ahead and look at that share. I can see that it's quite full. And now let's go out onto the network to see where it's being hosted from. I flip over to my filer. I see the basic properties. Let's drill into the filer view. Over here, we see the top level view, the sort of attributes of the box. See the basic configuration there of the filer. Now let's go down and look at the volume that's hosting that information, and I can see I have a couple different configurations here. The one I care about, of course, is this one because that's hosting my my map network share. So now we're going to change gears and flip over to the admin's view, what would be seen inside of FMA, and we'll look at the source and the target. So for the source, we're going to point to back to that filer from inside of FMA, basic configuration information, basically point FMA at the filer using existing filer capabilities with fpolicy. So that's how we set up the source, and now we set up the target of where that content's going to go through web services off to the cloud using the subtenant information that we got out of Atmos. Now, that's it for configuration. Now let's look at the policy. So we're going to set up a policy for that finance, relieve some of the pressure off of that finance share, and we'll go ahead and configure that here. Basic information about the policy itself. Now we're going to configure the engine for that selection. So we're going to make a simple illustration here to look at this certain type of file size. Choose that here, add that rule to the policy, and now we're going to select an action of basically the destination of where we want that content to go off to the cloud. So once those two pieces are together, now we're going to go ahead and check it one other time just to make sure that it's good to go. Let's check that that Atmos destination. First, that was pointed to a separate instance, separate subtenant, but here we've created a subtenant in Atmos just for finance, and now we're going to choose where we want that content to be relieved from. So we go to the share, we drill down to the finance folder, set that in, and we'll go ahead and kick off this job. So now our job's running. We kicked it off, and we can see that we have some other policies or other scheduled tasks that have run in the past, but the one we care about is that finance one that's in green, because it's still running. So again, it's going to very transparently communicate with the filer, find those files that fit the criteria, and let's go ahead and find what it found in the policy. Here we have a basic high-level view of the share, basic information that was picked up, and the number of files to be stubbed. So that's effectively where we're going to get that relief from those files that fit that criteria of the policy. And again, where they get translated through the web services interface into Atmos is the Atmos API returns a unique identifier for that object. And again, the experience in the end user is very much transparent. So that's it from FMA, and let's go back now to where we started and look at the end result. So we see some files that have been stubbed and tagged. Again, the end user experience, those are icons. I can double click on them, open them up, modify, change, edit, delete, and so forth. The experience is still very much the same. Let's go back over to the filer and see where things stand right now. So we'll go back to where we started. I go back and look at the volume, and now I see my capacity is very, very different. That sort of tier 1 relief is now in, and I'm good to go. Here we have the before and the after picture from this one particular policy, and again, the engine is quite flexible, where you can mix and match criteria and certainly more than one network share to point the policy engine at. For more information, please go to the events calendar in emc.com and look for Tiering to the Cloud, an on-demand EMC Live webinar, or you can check out free evaluation versions of either FMA or Atmos through either of these two URLs, or you can reach out to your EMC sales representative. And thank you for your time.